Good evening, beautiful people.
And good morning.
Yeah, depending on what time you're listening or watching the pod on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever you're feeling, I'm just glad you're here, man. Another episode of Mo's Knows. Thank you, Deon, for hopping on.
Thank you,
Miss
Cory,
you,
for hopping on as well.
missed you last week. Missed you 2 weeks ago, because we had a bye week last week. Didn't have no pod, so we did find out a lot of things after the bye week. We found out that Arch Manning is a lot shorter than Victor Wembanyama. We also found out that CJ Baxter doesn't like roller coasters. Found out that Deon don't mess with me, bro. I went up to Dallas and he never wanted to link up with me, bro. What was up with that, bro? I had a whole weekend up to Dallas.
No, it's not that. It's just, work was not friendly to me this weekend. So I'm sorry that we couldn't see each other. But, I get to see you here virtually, which is always great as well.
Yeah, sure. We also found out that Coach Sarkisian doesn't like my questions this week for some reason. That was interesting. I asked him a question. He just, it was one of those like, all right, cool. I got a lot of messages too after that. People listening to the press conference, and they're like, why did Sark do you like that? Just like, it's that week, bro. It's that Georgia week. He on top of the world right now, trying to get focused, bunkering down. So we did find out a lot about not only this team over these last couple of weeks, but we're going to find out a lot more this weekend as Texas heads to Georgia. They go to Athens in a nighttime game under the lights. It's going to be super exciting. I won't be there, though, unfortunately. And Parker Coleman and Jeff Jones will be representing the KVU crew. Say that 3 times. I'm just excited, though. Excited for this matchup, and we'll see what happens. Georgia's had Texas's number the last 2 times they went up against each other, and both times it's been kind of like a physical beatdown when it comes to the Bulldogs. You could just tell they were just more physical in both games, and that was a question that was posed by Kirk Bowles this week. It's funny, Deon.
Talk to me.
In these pressers, this guy Kirk Bowles, he's like one of the old heads of the crew. Works for the newspapers. He used to work for the Austin Statesman. Now he works for the Houston Chronicle. I love Kirk, by the way, before I say this. But like he be trying to ask these questions where it's like pointed, and it's just like, bro, like what do you want them to answer? Like, how do you want them to answer this? So his big stick on Monday was, is Georgia the most physical team in the SEC? He was asking everybody that. And all the players was like, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you see? Little Colin Simmons was like, well, what do you think? You watch the games. And he's like, well, I mean, they look pretty physical. He's like, all right. And that was that was it. And so my thing is, like, if you're going to ask the players that, like, what do you expect them to say? Yeah, they're way more physical than us. Like, what are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Like, I send you clips all the time about reporters asking questions. If I would have seen that definitely would have been where is this going?
Yeah.
Where is this going? What do you want them to, what did you want them to say? Do you want them, I know maybe we were hoping that, they weak as hell. Nah, but come on, what do you expect? What do you expect for these guys to say about their upcoming test?
It's interesting, man. When you listen to the different questions throughout the day on Monday, and everybody's personalities, and everyone has like the thing that they're trying to write about. Like all the writers, they have like a certain theme or a certain story that they want to discuss, and so they all ask kind of like the same question to kind of everybody. And so, like when I say they all ask, I mean they ask their question to everybody, but we all ask different questions. But yeah, so now that was Kirk's thing on Monday. Who's more physical? Is Georgia the most physical team in the SEC? So we'll see on Saturday, though. Night game in Sanford Stadium. I believe that's what it's called. It's kind of weird. I just call it Georgia Stadium, to be honest, but forget that stadiums have actual names. But yeah, I'm excited, dude. I'm so excited for this matchup. Texas has been playing well, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. I know the fourth quarter from Vanderbilt was, not great, but a lot of injuries in the back end. Michael Taft was hurt. Jelani McDonald got hurt. Xavier Philsmith got hurt. So, yeah, communication wasn't great. But now you got those guys back after the bye week. You also see Arch Manning. Bro, he's been hooping.
I heard he balled. Yeah, I heard he balled out.
Hooping.
And I mean, this would be the test. This would be a great game for him to have another good standout performance. Doesn't have to be nothing crazy, but maybe 2 touchdowns and just control the offense. And I'm glad to see that, hey, as we see around the landscape, people getting fired, people getting benched. Archer's getting better. So
Yeah.
I love to see around the landscape that, he's starting to it seems like get more comfortable in that offense.
Yeah, you just got to give it time. And this is something I've been saying. I've been telling you this. I've been telling everybody this who's been like coming after me ever since Ohio State. I feel like I'm like the Texas guy for all the homies and all the friend groups that I'm a part of, and
For sure
they
you
just
are,
think
yeah.
I'm just part of the team. Like, oh, your guy sucks. It's like, well, just give it time. Just give it time. He's young. Guys are injured. I used to say that a lot earlier in the year. And then it's like they get healthy, but it's like you still got to work on timing. You still got to work on chemistry together with quarterback to receiver. So that's going to take a couple weeks. And so, yeah, now you're at the point where it feels like they're a little bit of a well-oiled machine. Both the running backs are healthy, and C.J. Baxter and Trey Wisner. And so, yeah, Arch looks better because things around him are better. The offensive line, I feel like they figured that out a little bit. Moving Connor Robinson to center, or keeping Connor Robinson at center, and then moving Cole Hudson to guard. Like, everything seems to be working its way out as the season has gone along, and they seem to be kind of peaking at the right time. And I kind of mentioned the running back room and CJ Baxter, and he actually talked about Arch on Monday, specifically about like his success. And like you just mentioned, Deon, it was kind of down early in the year, and now everyone else around seems to be going the opposite direction that Arch is going. Arch is going up while guys like I look at Carson Beck, in Miami not playing well. I look at Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. He got benched last game. And
I got a
so,
bunch of notifications on Saturday. I said, dang, bench,
man,
bench, bench. Oh my goodness. Wow.
man, mind you, Arch is throwing for over 300 yards and no interceptions with about 4 touchdowns a game. So, yeah, things are looking good on the 40. And one guy who's loving that success is CJ Baxter. Here's what he had to say about his QB1.
That guy takes a lot of, he's at the forefront of everything, but the way that he practices, the way he go out there to practice every day, it's like he's just getting better and better. And then we see that, and he's the quarterback. But I mean, his name is what it is, but he's our quarterback, and we all look at him. So when he's doing good, and we like, all right, let's pick our junk up because he balling right now. So let's do it. Like I told a bunch of the guys during the Vandy game last week, I was like, keep protecting 16 because he in his bag. And when he get a groove and when he's loose and confident, I don't think nobody can mess with him. So
yeah, he's happy for his QB. And it's funny. It's not funny, but it's something I discussed with CJ. Him and Arch came in the same recruiting class, and that was their biggest thing of like, hey, we're going to come in this mug together, and we're going to take Texas over the top. And now they're at the spot in their careers where this is kind of like the time to do so. So it's cool to see them have success together because it's something that they envisioned when they first got to the 40. But something else I wanted to envision is having a guest on every single week to go over enemy lines. And we're able to do that this week. My boy Avery Braxton. I've known Avery for a long time, since his Memphis days. Now he's in Atlanta covering the Georgia Bulldogs, covering Atlanta Braves, covering the Falcons. He's all over the place. And he's from Atlanta. So definitely a homecoming for him. So can't wait to let y'all hear this conversation with Avery and us as we discuss that Texas and Georgia matchup. All right, beautiful people. We're now going over enemy lines with not an enemy, but a friend of mine. Avery Braxton's in the building from
Enemy's
Atlanta News
crazy.
First. I know. What? It's a little segment we do. It's a little segment we do. So anybody that Texas is playing, I like to bring on somebody. And so it's a little segment that we like to do. But of course, you're the homie. You know what I'm saying? So great to have you here, Avery. I know a lot going on over there in Athens or in Georgia in general. And so just kind of talked about this before we started, but what is kind of like the vibe right now when it comes to Georgia football? How are they feeling going into this matchup against Texas?
Yeah, I think the vibe is pretty good. I think for a lot of Georgia fans, a lot of these games are a little too close for comfort. Just about every week.
Yeah.
I think they've had 4 games this year where it's been one possession, a one possession game at the end of it. I think 5 games that have been 10 points or less. So a lot of these games that you didn't necessarily think would be close have been close. But I think overall the vibe feels pretty good. Of course, Texas week, the last SEC game of the year, in the regular season at least. Like everybody's like, all right, man, we got to get this one so we can keep ourselves in contention for that SEC championship game. But some people don't even want to be in the SEC championship. So it's an interesting time in college football these days, and the SEC is a war zone, as I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah, I know that was a conversation with Texas this week. Was you got to win every single game to get to the SEC championship if you want to do so. And the thing for Georgia though, they have Texas's number over the last couple of years, and so I guess I should say last year. And so was that a conversation at all? Were you at the press conference? I guess I should start with that. And if so, what kind of stood out to you?
I wasn't at the press conference this week, but I did go back and watch and listen to it. And first of all, Kirby Smart was asked about, is there anything that you could take from that game and set in the third? And of course, Kirby's like, these are two completely different teams. And I think like some of that is coach speak, but I think it's also kind of true. Like there's so much turnover that happens in college football these days, NIL and the transfer portal and all that kind of stuff. So in a lot of ways, they do feel like two really different teams. But I think it's hard to say that there's not some kind of like mental edge that I think you take in there as a player, at least a little bit, when you say, hey, we beat these guys twice last year. Then especially they got to come into your house, right? They're coming into Sanford Stadium. All that noise about Arch Manning and his recruitment and how he went to Texas instead of coming to Georgia. Like, I think all of that kind of does play a part a little bit. But I think for the most part, Kirby Smart's done a great job of just kind of keeping those guys locked in game by game, week by week kind of focus. And I would be surprised if there's any murmurs of that really in the locker room. If there is any kind of thoughts about like we've got these guys numbered, like it's purely in the cabeza, you know what I'm saying? So they're not trying to hear none of that in the locker room at all.
Yeah, you talked about Sanford Stadium, and that was a topic of conversation for Texas press conference. I know Sarkisian was asked, "Has he ever coached there?" And he's like, "No, I actually never coached there. I'm excited for the opportunity." And then the Arch was asked, "You prepared for cowbells. Have you prepared for barking?" And so, what is that environment like for any Texas fan heading to Athens?
Well, the thing about the barking is like it typically is happen in like a kind of a 1-to-1 kind of situation. Like the whole stadium is not barking necessarily, but what you will hear is that third down band playing. And they do the da 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 da. You will hear that incessantly. It will drive you crazy, and it does get really really loud in there. I'm sure with a opponent like Texas coming in there, it's gonna be packed to the gills. So you can get nuts. I mean, I was there for the Alabama game this year. That environment was insane. The Ole Miss game was insane, just in terms of crowd involvement and folks, just kind of coming in there and I feel like it is an intimidating environment for an opposing team, for an opposing quarterback. It's tough. It's tough to play in Sanford Stadium, and I mean, it kind of shows. Their record with Kirby Smart is insane, especially with night games. I think he's. I want to say they were undefeated or something like that. It's like 17 games that they had won before they lost to Alabama with certain teams and night games in Sanford Stadium. So crazy environment for sure.
Yeah.
Avery, is there anybody we should be looking out for? I know with Texas having some extra prep time with the bye week. Is there anybody that you think could really change this game for Georgia and keep on the winning path? I know Texas is doing everything they can to try to stay in this CFP race. So is there anybody that Georgia is game planning for in your eyes on the Texas side?
Well, I think first it's really just gotta be Arch. I mean, you're worried. I think a big point of emphasis that happened in Kirby Smart's press conference this week was just talking about the kind of the evolution of quarterbacks and having to use your quarterbacks in the run game. The way the question was posed was, have defenses evolved in such a way that, they require you to have a quarterback that can do both? And really, to Kirby Smart's point, was like, I don't think it's that defenses have evolved, but it's that quarterbacks or running the ball is so important that you really have to have a quarterback that can do that, because it just puts you at an advantage, whenever a defense has to kind of key in on you that way. So I would say that in the conversations and things that I've heard, has really just been about Arch. if I'm being real about it, not to say that we're not worried about anybody else, because you have to be, but As far as like what Texas fans should look out for, Georgia really they've really been getting their tight ends involved lately. Lawson Lucky, who's the kind of their main, I would say, receiving tight end, took a pretty bad hit. Had to leave the game against Mississippi State. They asked about his health this week, and it was kind of like, we'll see if he goes, kind of thing. Kirby Smart felt good about having Lawson back, but you're in concussion protocols, all those things, you could just be kind of hit or miss. So if he doesn't play, you'll end up seeing, probably a lot more Oscar Delp, who scored his first touchdown of the year against Mississippi State. Really big, physical tight end, a great blocker, but he can catch the ball too. And Georgia has really kind of leaned on tight ends this year. The receiving game is good. I think if you're looking at that offensive side of the ball as well, Zachariah Branch for Georgia has been electric, easily their number one receiver. And while he can be a downfield threat, he's really, really fast. They love to get the ball to him in the screen game, kind of in that short bubble. And I mean, he might get a short bubble or a screen pass like 4 or 5 times a game, and that'll be half his receptions. And he'll, if he makes one guy miss, he's really, really dangerous in the open field. So it's almost, I would say, that screen game with Zachariah is almost like an extension of Georgia's run game.
Yeah, you spoke about Lawson. I know Georgia, the big topic of conversation for Texas this week was they run a lot of 3 tight end sets. And a lot of tight ends gets involved in this offense. And, Oscar is supposed to be the guy, when it comes to last year, but, he hadn't had that production of being that tight end number one. But you mentioned Zachariah, and I wanted to speak on that because he has the target share is like he has triple the amount of targets than the next wide receiver. And so why do you think it's been so easy for him to transfer in? Because he got to Georgia this year. And so why has it been so easy for him to transition in his offense? And but simple as that.
I think part of it is just because he is so electric. And you can do so much with him. I mentioned the screen game. He's not afraid to take a catch across the middle. I think he's really kind of become a bit of a security blanket for Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's quarterback this year. It just seems like he's always reliable. But you talk about the target share. I'm telling you, it's because he's catching all these screen passes. like every week, he's gonna get at least 3, 4, 5 of those sent his way. And it could be on 1st and 10. It could be on 3rd and 4. He's just somebody that they find ways to use him in a lot of different ways. They might give him a reverse out of the backfield, although they've done that with gosh, I can't remember the other receiver's name right now, but Zachariah. I think of everybody on that offense, he is the most dynamic weapon on Georgia's offense. And if you can shut him down, I think if Texas can shut him down and really limit, Georgia's ability to run the ball, which we know Texas is a great run defense, I think they have a pretty good shot to win the game.
Texas has proven to be a 3-level team. Has there have you heard anything special about them on special teams and trying to contain Ryan Niblett?
Just dynamic. I think it's one of those things where it's like you preach, like just stay in your lane, just do your job, don't try to be a hero. And I think when you do that, you tend to limit what another team can do on special teams. When you have a dynamic returner, and Zachariah Branch, to that point, he's Georgia's return man as well. When you've got a guy like that, you're just trying to get it in his hands, right? And so I mean, if you're Georgia, the best thing you can do is try to keep it out of his hands. You're trying to pin him inside the inside the 10. Maybe you kick the ball out of bounds once or twice, stuff like that. But I think that with that return game, Georgia's pretty disciplined normally, but a guy like Niblett, a guy like Branch, like they make plays, and you just gotta hope. You gotta hope that the guy that you're playing doesn't do something dynamic in that game, that return game.
Bro, I want to flip sides and talk about this defense because last year that's what gave Texas the biggest trouble. Jalen Walker, coming off the edge and doing his thing in both games, but I feel like this year it's been kind of different for Georgia. I don't think they have double-digit sacks. But there is that still mantra. It was funny, and I posted a soundbite because Ethan Burke, the edge for Texas, he got asked, is Texas's pass rush overlooked compared to Georgia. And he mentioned like, well, I mean, we have 34 sacks, they have like 8. And like he said it, I was like, dang, like he low key trying to like throw a slug there. But like, what is the sentiment for Georgia when it comes to the pass rush? Because to me, it looks like it isn't really the same as years past. Is it? Does it feel that way when you look at it?
No, it's you're 100% right. The pass rush and how to get the pass rush going has been a conversation for Georgia and Georgia fans and Georgia reporters all year. And it's really kind of been, anytime you ask Kirby Smart about it, he doesn't really have an answer. I think they certainly have the athletes to do it. It just kind of feels like nobody's really taken on, you know, that role thus far as like as the dynamic pass rusher. And at the same time, I think it's causing them to suffer in the secondary. Sorry, my dog is over here.
That's all good. Trying to hop on the pod. I understand.
Yeah, trying to hop on the pod. You know what I'm saying? She needs some airtime. But I think Georgia's lack of pass rush has really kind of hurt their secondary, because there's been some games where their secondary has really gotten torched, and it's really because quarterbacks have had the ability to kind of stand back there and scan the field and see what's going on. So I would say if Georgia can't get to Arch Manning, like it could be, there's a potential for it to be a long night for real.
And so yeah, a lot of things going on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, if Arch has time, he's dangerous. I mean, the last couple of games, he's had over 300 yards passing. He looked great ever since he's been called the biggest bust ever. He's done nothing but go 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 top 10 wins, and he's been phenomenal. And so if you give him time, he has proven that he's figured out this offense and the receivers are now healthy. But, you know, I want to transition away from the game now because there's something else big, in my opinion, happening in Atlanta right now. They're hiring, the Atlanta Braves are hiring for Mr. Freeze. And if you don't know who Mr. Freeze is, if you're listening to the pod, Avery Athlete, do you want to explain who Mr. Freeze is?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
The Atlanta Braves have a segment that they do in every game called Beat the Freeze, where there's a guy who dresses up like, I guess the easiest way to describe it is like Frozone from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
It's basically what he looks like, and they pull fans from the stands, and the fan will get, they'll race around the back, what's it called, the warning track,
like the outfield.
The outfield of the stadium, and the fan typically will get a head start. I don't know how long the head start is, might be like 5-10 seconds, something like that. But basically, like, the idea is, can you get to one side of the warning track to the other and beat Mr. Freeze there, even though you have the head start? More often than not, fans do not beat the Freeze.
Is it like a 90% win rate? What would you say? Like that?
He's nuts. He's nuts. I don't know about 90. It's definitely up there in like the mid 80s. Got to be.
Okay.
But he will straight up hawk some people down for real. A lot of times people like kind of don't see him coming because they're so focused on running, and you'll kind of get some very, really funny outcomes. People trip over themselves, and it's funny stuff. But I think there's been a couple of times where there's like the communications people that are like pulling somebody out of the stands or whatever, and like you mess around and pull like a ex high school track star, and they're like, oh no, like I'm not going to tell you, but I'm about to cook this man, kind of thing. So it's a really fun it's a fun segment. It's funny. It does well on social media. So it's pretty cool. But I mean, you told me this. I didn't even know this.
Yeah. So I brought this up.
I don't know what's going on. But they're hiring for new people.
Look, man, you made me do a story on this, bro. I think it's really dope because, like, I brought this up because I'm so intrigued with the fact that they're hiring for this guy. And so my thing is, one, it's a part-time gig because it's only on game days. And so we're looking at like 81 appearances.
81 appearances.
And so if you're hiring, the requirements is you got to be fast, first off. And so we're already limiting a amount of people that could actually apply for this thing. And so to me, it's a niche thing. So if that's the case, if only a certain amount of people can do it, how much are you willing to pay for it? And so I'm curious to know, if you're looking to be the Mr. Freeze, how much would you want to get paid, like, for something like this?
Yeah, this is a good question. This is a really good hypothetical. I'm drawing on my own past experience, right? So I'm not, in my past experience, I do not mean that I'm fast. What I'm saying is, I used to work for the Atlanta Falcons for Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I was their stadium host, doing all the games and stuff like that on the Jumbotron. They was giving me $500 a game.
Okay.
So that's for the entirety of the game, and then you have like rehearsals and everything like that. I doubt Beat the Freeze is doing rehearsals.
He just got
So
practice.
you probably just showing up on game day, for the most part. So I would say they're probably paying somewhere between like $500 and $1,000 a game, if I had to guess.
So I kind of did a little bit of math before we hopped on, and if you're getting paid $50K for the whole year, then you're basically getting around like $600, $650 a game.
Yeah.
So just like 80-some games. And so in my mind, if you got one race,
that's cheddar.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cheddar,
you know what I'm saying,
and
bro? You got one race.
They don't care if you win. I mean, I guess they do care if you win. They want you to win more often than not, because I think they got to give stuff away if you lose. But that's good cheddar. It's
a little
good
50, but I think the one thing is you can't have another job though. Like I think that's the one problem. Because if it's part-time, the games are long, and also they're not like consistent, right? Like you have a night game, then you have a day game. So if you do have another job,
I think not Frozone, but Beat the Freeze. I think you can swing it because it's mostly a weekend job. You really think about it.
Okay.
I mean, you're doing a lot of Friday, Saturday, Sundays. It's typically going to be in the evening. Like you can probably swing it. And then it's not like he's not a superhero. He don't have a secret identity necessarily. Like you tell your job, like, hey, I also just Beat the Freeze. Like they might
they'll be able to see
early on a Friday. You know what I'm saying?
They'll be able to see. Oh,
boy,
yeah,
that is Charles. Charles is supposed to be at the call center this morning. And he's licking his.
Well, he got a mask on, right? Don't he got a mask on?
Yeah, it's like a mask. It's like the like ski goggles almost.
Okay.
Yeah, ski goggles.
So he do got like a little secret identity,
so
but
low
like
key,
you can tell your boss.
There's probably plausible deniability. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, how many?
Deon, how much would you do?
I mean, that sounds about right. I was gonna say like 25, 30 an hour, somewhere around there. Especially if it's a couple hours of work. You just gotta show up. I don't know if they interact with the fans though, like the regular mascot, or just for the race.
Yeah, I would say they interact with the fans a little bit.
Okay,
you'll definitely see them around the stadium, but it's like again, it's not even the whole game. They only do it one time, like one time a game. It's like the 6th inning. So like you don't gotta run it more than once. I don't know.
I know one race a night, you know what I'm saying? A little $650 in your pocket.
Don't get
it's pretty good. A little $50K.
I mean, you gotta win. Because if you lose, they're throwing you on social media like Beat the Freeze got beat. So your win rate gotta be high. But yeah,
and that's why I was like, it's a niche thing though. So that to me, I think I can bark up the price a little bit because like, how many people you gonna find that's as fast as me?
That's a good point. I mean, they're all like ex-track guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's what I was. So I was like, I wonder what the tryout is like. Hey, do you all? Hey, we picked the top 10. We're gonna have y'all all race right now. And
I wonder what wins gets the job. Like.
I wonder if they bring a woman in there for real. That would be cool.
Why you laugh, bro?
No, that'd be interesting. I mean, who would have thought? That's what I'm.
Let me get
Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is a woman.
Let me get Shorty from Ole Miss. And what her name is, man? She's fast as heck.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. I thought you would have mentioned Sydney. McLaughlin.
But I mean, she don't need that money, bro.
Nah, she don't
need that money, dog.
I know. Thank you for amusing me on that segment, by the way. But Avery, big time game this weekend, content. Man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just intrigued, bro. I'm just curious. I was just curious. I saw it. I was like, bro, no way they're hiring Mr. Freeze. Like that's a big job. That's a real big job.
It's important.
But yeah, bro, big time game this weekend. You gonna be there? By the way, you gonna be at Texas, Georgia?
This is the one game, the one home game I'm not gonna be there for. So I'm kind of like, I've been to a lot of games this year, so like I'm not complaining, but it's just like you got your rotation of reporters, and so it's just not my turn. But this is low key the biggest game of the year. But I was at Alabama, I was at Ole Miss, I traveled from Florida, so like it is what it is.
Well, I won't be feel better. To make you feel better, I'm in the same boat. It's my rotation. Wow. Yep. Wow. Yeah, I went to Ohio State. I went to Florida.
Yeah.
Now
can't get them all.
Yeah. Can't get them all. You know what I'm saying? Cheer on the team from the sideline. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
For
But
sure.
I'll be watching the TV. But yeah, bro, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for hopping on. I really appreciate it. And man, glad to see you doing your thing out there in Atlanta, bro.
Yeah,
Back at the
you
crib.
too, man. You too, man. You know, anytime the great Corey Moses asks for a favor, I'm
Oh,
happy
here
to
you
do
go.
it. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
You
The
know,
great's crazy.
real recognize real.
All right, thank you, Avery, again for hopping on the pod. You didn't have to do that. It was on his off day too, D. Like, man,
Y'all
I
don't
feel
stop
bad whenever I
working.
ask people. Yeah,
No, y'all don't
nah.
stop working. It's part of the
Oh.
business. Y'all don't stop working. So I'm used to I'm used to you telling me, yeah, bro, I'm off today, but I gotta go. I say, yeah, that sounds right. So we appreciate him for taking his time on his off day to come mess with your boys. And yeah, I'm excited for this weekend, man. I'm really on the road. Arch. This could be a fun game. I think the over-under is at like 47, 46. So hopefully they can get some points on the board. Nobody really likes to see those ugly defensive battles.
Hey, man, what you mean, little slobber knockers?
Nah, man. No, nobody enjoys seeing those. You know, it 3/4, nothing happens, and then maybe somebody scores in the fourth. Nah. I would love to see a couple touchdowns. And like I say, I want to see I do want to see. I guess this would be an upset if Texas wins. I think they're
Technically,
the
yeah,
underdog.
ESPN has them at a 40% chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if they win, then yeah, for sure. And it's definitely needed too, you know, with this college football playoff situation.
You think the SEC gets 5 teams?
5. I'm trying to think. So off the top of my head, sorry for all the viewers or listeners. I don't have the playoff bracket ahead of me, but in front of me, I should say. But what you got? You got Georgia, you got A&M, you got Bama. I believe Oklahoma and Texas are also in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss. So that's 6. Yeah, that's 6 teams right now. Vanderbilt's like right on the edge. And, you know, I was talking to, that's 7 technically. And you said, do they get 5?
Yeah, I watched a video
Yeah, they
on
get
TikTok.
5, bro.
I watched the video on TikTok. It was like, there is a possibility maybe that they could do 5, but you know, of course, a bunch of stuff has to happen. But yeah, I was just wondering if you think that that is a possibility.
I think they get 6. Like, I think that's like the real conversation because you got A&M's getting in, right? So that's 1. Alabama getting in. 2. Georgia could F some stuff up. You know, if they lose to Texas, then you get into that conversation of a 2-loss team. But I still think Georgia gets in. Even if you lose to Texas, I think the rest of your schedule is not that great. And so that's 3. Ole Miss is getting in. They only got 1 loss right now. That's 4. So now the question is like, does Texas get in? Does Oklahoma get in? Does Vanderbilt get in? So I guess the cap is 5 because I don't think 2 of those 3 get in. I think only 1 of those gets in. And, you know, it's going to be real sticky because Jeff and I, my sports director, we were discussing this the other day. And we were looking at the math. And so let's say Texas loses. Let's just say, you know, Texas fans listening, my apologies. But let's say Texas loses on Saturday. And then they beat A&M at the end of the year. Now the question is, does a 3-loss Texas team get in, but you have a win over an undefeated A&M squad?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a win over Oklahoma, which is a pretty good win now, too. They only got 2 losses. Oklahoma's probably going to lose another game. They got Bama on the schedule. So, but they could, if they went out, because after Bama, they really ain't got nobody. So if they beat Bama, then they have a conversation about getting in. But the dark horse to me is, let's say Oklahoma loses to Bama. Let's say Texas loses to Georgia. So both of those teams got 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Vanderbilt's schedule,
favorable schedule.
If you look at Vanderbilt's schedule, bro,
they got the big dogs out the way.
They got Kentucky, Tennessee, and that's it. Tennessee's 21st in the nation. Like, Tennessee's at Tennessee, by the way. So it's not an easy out.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
you can see there's a light at the end of the tunnel there for
exactly. And they only got 2 losses. And so now you're arguing, Lord have mercy. Texas, do they get in over Vandy when Texas has a win over A&M and over Oklahoma? And Vanderbilt's best win would be 21st ranked Tennessee. but they only got 2 losses compared to Texas 3. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So who do you give the spot to? Mind you, Texas beat Vandy. So I mean that could play a factor.
There's gonna be some pissed people at the end of the year.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
There's
You
gonna
know
be
what I'm saying,
There's
bro?
gonna be some pissed people at the end of the year.
Exactly. So does a 2-loss Vanderbilt team get over a 3-loss Texas team with the win over A&M? That would be a conversation that will piss off a lot of people. Mind you, Texas beat Vandy. So yeah, that's something that we were just talking about in the newsroom the other day. So yeah, a lot of things can still shake out. To answer your question, I think 5 does get in. To be honest, because Big Ten they got like Big Ten is so top heavy. You got Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon, and then after that, it's like no one else is really in. Then you got Big 12. Texas Tech gets in. What a game for Texas Tech, by the way. They look great this weekend. ACC, that conference is god awful. Lord have mercy. I think Georgia Tech's probably going to come out of that conference. And then you got the group of 5. So you got 3 Big Ten. You got 5 SEC, so that's 8. 1 group of 5, 9. 1 Big 12, 10. 1 ACC, 11. Am I missing somebody? I guess that's the Power 4. So I guess there's one more spot left. So I mean, technically, it could be 6.
All right, buddy. Hey, do you? And this is really quick. Do you think I saw somebody say on TikTok, instead of having the voters do the AP thing, they should do like divisions in the NFL? You think that's a cool idea or better than?
Look, I've always been on, and this is something that Joe Klatt talks about, which I agree with Joe Klatt. He's big on letting everything play out on the field. Like, stop letting anybody else make decisions that aren't playing on the football field. And the way I see it, I think you could do a SEC champ, and this is something like you said quick, but this is elaborate. SEC championship game, right? Those 2, they already get in automatic. You get Big Ten, those 2 games, because we all know those. If we're being real, those are the best 2 conferences. And so those 2 get in the SEC championship and the Big Ten championship, no matter who wins or loses. And then you play a 3rd place game for both of those conferences. So the 3 and the 4 seed during championship week. So let's say, like, you don't make the SEC championship game, but you still make the
3rd place
entry level playoff game, And so 3 versus 4 in the Big Ten and in the SEC. So now both those conferences get at least 3 teams in. So that's 6 right there. I think Big 12, they play a Big 12 championship game. The winner of that one gets in automatically. ACC, same thing. The winner of that one gets in automatically. Now the question is, if you run it up in the Big 12 and the ACC, do you get that automatic bid? I'm not giving it to them, to be honest. Like I think you have to play it out. Like I think you also have to play a game to figure that out. And then the group of 5 is just, that's who I missed. By the way, sorry to backtrack. It's not 11 teams because I didn't think about Notre Dame. Notre Dame's in, which I hate what Notre Dame's doing right now. I really do, because they're not in a conference, so they're not getting they're not playing nobody.
Not going against nobody.
And what they're doing, they're smart though. Like they're so smart because they're scheduling guys in the beginning of the year, like at A&M, and they scheduled somebody else early that was pretty good. But the playoff committee, they're not punishing teams now for losing those games early in the year, because they want you to schedule those games. They want it to be competitive to start the season off. Yeah, they played A&M and they played Florida. That was the other team they played. They lost both those games, but they've ran the table since. Mind you, their best win is a USC team that's 17 in the country and not really good. But they only have 1 loss. Well, I guess they got 2 losses, but both those losses against ranked teams. So the committee's not going to punish them. But yeah, so you get like Notre Dame gets in, the Group of 5 gets in, the champion of Big 12, champion of an ACC. But I think at least 3 automatic bids for SEC and Big 10 should get in, based off of conference championship week, where everybody will kind of play, 3 seed versus 4
to
seed.
get your spot.
Mm-hmm.
Got you.
The only problem with that though is like now we're talking about like 18 games like schedule for 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
Look, if there's one thing that they're gonna try to do, they're gonna try to get more football, bro. So unfortunately, or I mean, hey, they'll probably. I think if you go to that type of format, I mean, they'll probably just cut a game from their regular schedule.
Nah, because now you're losing bread there.
I mean, the more important games will be the playoff game, right?
Technically, but like these conference games, SEC just added another conference game for next year. So like they're still adding conference games. So maybe you take away a added conference game, but then that ruins the fact of like the Texas versus Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then you don't get like the Notre Dame versus A&M games. Like you want to see that too at the beginning of the year. So, and that got a lot of money. Texas, Ohio State for sure made a lot of money. So yeah, they're not going to take any games away. They're just going to add on to it. Just like the NFL. NFL did the same thing.
Which is nuts.
Which
is nuts.
That's why you see so many injuries.
Yeah, these receivers got the worst hamstrings I've ever seen. But any final thoughts, man, before we get out of here? I think my final thought is going to be, man, I'm sorry, AJ Brown. I hate that they treat you like this, man. As y'all know, I have AJ Brown on my fantasy team, and if I just had him to be able to give me consistent points every week, I would be doing better. But I'm getting thrashed in all my leagues. I am on a losing streak, and in my paid leagues. I'm in losing streaks, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. Michael Pittman gave me a dud this week, so it's egregious. But yeah, what about you, Cory? Any final thoughts?
Wait, you drafted him in how many leagues?
Who?
AJ.
I mean, I'm drafted in my big money league, the one that counts the most for me. And, and it's just sad to see. I'm emotionally attached to him. I just thought they would have figured it out after last year that okay, bet I have a number 1 guy over here, I have a number 2 guy over here, but I don't know if it's hurts. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's just because they hate each other. Who knows? But it's egregious to watch every week that he can't get this man the ball on a consistent basis. But yeah, I'm
sorry to hear that.
I'm in a deep, dark depression right now in fantasy. Oh man.
Hey, look, man. There's always next year, right? That's what they say. Or you got NBA. You got NBA fantasy. I know we're in the same league together for that.
Man, if you've seen all the people that have out to injury today, I mean it's bad on that side too.
I got 4 dudes injured on my roster, bro. Like, and
Zach
we only
Levine,
week 3.
Giannis,
we only
Zach
week 3
Levine,
NBA
Giannis,
season,
Aaron
bro.
Gordon, all out today. So it's
ridiculous.
It's crazy, man. It's the stuff we sign up for.
Yeah, my final thoughts. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, I guess you can watch this video. You see this white wall behind me. I moved apartments, so my final thought is moving sucks. I am happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit closer to the city, a little bit closer to campus. Well, I'm like in the city now. Was out in Cedar Park. Now I'm actually in Austin, so it's gonna help my commute out a little bit. Nice little spot. You feel me? Your boy looking good, feeling good. But I just got boxes everywhere, so I'm not trying to have y'all see all that. But eventually, I'll get all these boxes moved out the way, and I'll get everything set up so I can have a better visual for y'all. But yeah, my final thought is moving sucks. I do appreciate all the homies that came through. Shout out to the church. My homies in my Bible study group. They were able to come by, and it took like 15 minutes to pack the cars and unpack over here. And good move. Shout out to my parents too. They came up here to help me pack. Man, it's something about parents and like watching them bicker to each other that just amuses me. It's like a comedy show sometimes. They love each other, but at the end of the day, it's like they've been together for so long. Like every little thing annoys them. And so, yeah, that was great. Getting a front row seat to that. But so moving sucks. Eagles offense sucks. we're hoping that Texas doesn't suck on Saturday. So thank y'all so much for listening to another episode of Mo's Knows. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, please like, comment,
Hit
subscribe.
them buttons, dog. Hit them buttons. Hit all of them.
Yeah. Leave a comment and share it. Share it on your social media platforms. And hey, if you want to be Mr. Freeze, December 13th, that's the audition in Atlanta. So if you're listening to that conversation with Avery and us about if the next Mr. Freeze opening, go ahead, man. Take a flight to Atlanta. I want to see that audition. See if y'all can get that job. But I won't be doing that. I'll be right here.
Add us when you hurt your hammy. I definitely want to see that.
All right, though. Thank y'all listening for another episode of Mo's Knows. As always,
you're